Hi, and thank you for signing up with Pacific Surf School. My name's Kevin, and I'll be your virtual surf instructor. Please allow yourself 20 to 30 minutes for this land lesson, and make sure you're in comfortable clothing and have plenty of space for the land lesson. Our first topic that we're going to discuss is board knowledge and equipment. So let's prepare to surf. The surfboards that you will be using are soft top and have a plastic bottom, so they're extremely safe for you. At the back there are 3 fins, and they're plastic. These will help you steer in the water. And at the back of the surfboard, there's a leash. This will be connected to your ankle at all times and will prevent you from losing your surfboard. And this is a full-length wetsuit, which will be provided to you upon arrival at the beach. It's super comfortable and keep you really warm in the water. The next topic we'll be discussing is proper positioning on the surfboard. Positioning on the surfboard is really important. So the first thing we want to look at is where you're going to be on the surfboard. So, as you put your toes towards the end of the board, make sure that your toes aren't hanging off the back of the board, but in a good location, as I'm showing you now. Gently lay yourself on the surfboard with both hands on the right and left side of your body. Not too far up, but not too far back. If you go too far back, it's going to be really difficult to get up. If you put it too far forward, it's going to be difficult as well. So it's important that they're positioned about the middle of the surfboard. Another important aspect is being in the middle of the surfboard. If you're too far to the left, you'll fall to the left. If you're too far to the right, you'll fall to the right. So positioning in the middle of the surfboard is extremely important. Now that you've positioned yourself correctly on the surfboard, our next topic will be paddling. Now paddling is important because it allows you to move throughout the water. Before we start paddling, it's important to understand the formation of your hand. You don't want to have your hand open with fingers spread across. You want to have them closed in a cup position. This will allow you to move and dig throughout the water. So first, extend your arms out and paddle, bringing your right arm in and alternating with the left arm. Now you want to practice this a few strokes. And you never want to allow yourself to be too far extended out in the water, because this will get you nowhere. So let's practice that on your own. Try a few strokes. Easy, huh? Now you're probably thinking to yourself, well, when are we going to start standing up and surfing? Well, now is the time. Before we discuss the topic of popping up or standing up on the surfboard, we're going to discuss the 2 terms about how to stand on the surfboard. So the first stance we call regular. Your back foot is going to be your right foot, and your left foot is going to be towards the middle, with your knees bent, facing forward. Now our second stance is called goofy. Your left foot is going to be your back foot, and your right foot will be towards the middle of the board. Again, with arms out, facing forward. Now we're going to discuss the first technique on standing up. This is called the knee technique. Now there's 4 steps incorporated in this technique. So first, you want to bring your knees up. From here, put your front foot forward. Third step would be to twist up, keeping your hands on the rail at all times, and then releasing to the 4th step, which is bending your knees, having your arms out, and looking forward. Now we're going to discuss the second technique in standing up on the surfboard. This technique is more advanced and called the pop-up technique. So once you're positioned correctly on the surfboard, with your hands to your side and your feet and toes correctly placed on the back, you will explode up to the position without going to your knees. In preparation for standing up on the surfboard, while you practice those techniques, you can also incorporate exercises such as a push-up. Wow, I feel ready to surf. Now we'll be discussing positioning on the surfboard while you're on your feet. Okay, so your knees are bent, your arms are out, you're facing forward. Now it's also important that your back foot is parallel with the back of the surfboard, and your front foot is facing diagonally to the front. Now you're up and surfing. Your knees are bent, your arms are out, and you're facing forward. Another important aspect is being in the middle of the board. Now if you're too far forward, you can nosedive. If you're too far back, the surfboard's going to come back and you'll fall back. And we don't want that. So remember, stay in the middle of the surfboard. In addition to being centered on the surfboard in relation to being too far forward or too far back, it's also important to be centered in relationship to the rails. So if you're too far forward here, you're going to fall forward. If you're too far back, you'll fall back. And we don't want that. It's important to note that at some times you are definitely going to fall off the surfboard. So I'm going to show you the proper way on how to fall off your surfboard. Now as you're standing riding these radical waves, it's important that if you feel yourself falling, to jump away from the board. Or if you feel yourself falling forward, jump forward away from the board. But most importantly, remember, you don't want to dive. You'll be in shallow water. Now once you've fallen off the surfboard, it's important to remember not to panic, that you'll be in shallow water, there will be other students with you, and there will be an instructor with you at all times. Now we're ready to take the surfboard into the water, so let's get surfing. The first thing we want to do though, make sure that we bring the surfboard to the beach in the proper way. So pick the surfboard up, put it under your shoulder, with your left hand at the top, and direct yourself down to the beach. Let's go! So now you're down in the water, you want to place your surfboard on top of the water, facing the beach. As the board floats in the water, lay down in the proper position that we've talked about and start paddling forward. Now remember, the instructor is going to be with you at all times. And that concludes our land lesson for today. Practice the techniques at home as often as you can. Please come on time. And remember, you'll have 5 minutes with the instructor. So if you have any questions, please ask them. So thanks for joining us. My name's Kevin with Pacific Surf School. Surf's up!